Well, good morning, everyone. My name is Mighty Stream. I'm brought to you by Hope Through Navigation, and this is our Hood Recovery Services. You can reach me at recoveryofhope21@gmail.com. Today, I'm going to do your spiritual principle a day in a meditation, and I'm looking forward to discussing it with you for July 16th. Let's go ahead and get into it. Let me share this screen. Okay, July 16th. Listening for Common Ground, page 205. In service, we listen well by listening for common ground rather than for ways to prove that our ideal is better. Guiding principle tradition for in service. NA offers plenty of opportunities for us to learn how to do a better job of living in the world. While very few of us show up to NA with the credentials of great listener, sitting through recovery meetings can teach us much about making an effort to truly understand what others are saying. The listening skills we hone in recovery meetings are quite useful in NA service too. Self-centeredness might cause us to put the responsibility for good communication on others. If they would just be clear, we wouldn't have to listen so carefully. As we learn in meetings with our sponsor, calling other addicts, communication is a two-way street, and we're much better off when we work on our side rather than insisting on improvements across the way. I noticed a fellow trusted servant frequently restarting things other members had shared, restating things other members had shared, but in different words. A member wrote, I got angry, thinking they wanted credit for everyone else's ideals. After a while, I realized that they were basically interpreting for themselves as they try to understand what other people were saying. The service meetings take longer, but I think hearing things in multiple ways actually ends up being helpful. There are many ways we can improve our ability to listen in service. For example, not talking while others are talking can be practiced well in most recovery meetings. Other techniques, like asking others to clarify what they're saying, might be better reserved for service meetings. Sponsorship helps too, of course. A member wrote, my sponsor would say, what I hear you saying is, I started using that phrase in service, and soon my communication was improving dramatically. I typically have more in common with others than I may believe. I will listen for common ground with patience and gratitude. That's a powerful that's a powerful spiritual principle today. The spiritual principle is listening, because listening is an art, but it's also willingness. It's also a form of willingness to be able to practice these suggestions of how to listen better, which is a form of good communication, right? And so I think it's worthy of your consideration and my consideration. I do like how it gives an example of when and how to practice certain techniques. Like just listening without interrupting other people or talking while other people are talking is one that would be probably best used in a meeting, because it's very rude to have side conversations when people are sharing. So we can do that. But it is not the atmosphere in a meeting where people are sharing to ask people, I'm sorry, excuse me, I didn't understand that. Can you re-clarify what you're saying? Or what I hear you saying is, no, you would not do that in your share. That is cross-sharing, and it's very inappropriate in that meeting. But it would be very appropriate in an atmosphere of a service meeting where people are dialoguing and trying to come to an understanding of something so that they can have the best information, the best presentation of an event, where you do need other people's input, but not just other people's input. You need to understand what they are saying. And so that would be a good opportunity to practice active listening, and where you listen to the person, then in turn you say, if I'm hearing you correctly, I hear you saying, And then you repeat what you think they've said, and they have an opportunity to give clarity. And that does help, and it does cut down on a lot of confusion. This is what I want for you to do today. I want to dial this back a little bit because we're talking about the guiding principles, tradition for, and the title is In Service. Okay. So it's a relatively new book that talks about our traditions. I want for you to dial this back and practice it, not so much in service, right? Because some of you may not be ready for service. Some of you may not even know what that means. In regards to Narcotics Anonymous, maybe you're doing service out in the community. I want you to dial it back and start practicing this principle of listening and willingness, right? I want you to practice that with the people in your most immediate environment at home. Can you do that for me? I want for you to do that. So when I'm working with the boys and I'm talking to them about what I need, I always ask them, what do you think I just said? And sometimes they'll ask me, can I give my honest opinion? Absolutely. I want to hear what you think about what I just said. Because if there's some misunderstanding in their brains, their small, young brains, put it like that. If there's some misunderstanding there, then I want to be able to hone in on that and give some clarity, right? They swim every day, right? They're swimming every day with their new pool, and they are having a hard time understanding that I still expect for you to take your shower. And now they're thinking, I'm in the swim pool. Why would I have to continue? Because that chlorine will affect your hair and your skin, right? See, it hasn't been a conversation. There hasn't been a rebuttal. They think I'm just in a big bath. No, you're in a pool with a lot of chlorine. And I see some resistance when I'm telling you to go take your shower and make sure you shampoo your hair, right? So I have to understand what they're understanding so that I can bring clarity. And you can do the same thing in your home. And I believe that your environment will be much more pleasant. People will feel a lot more valued. There's nothing worse than having a parent that only gives you instruction and tells you what you need to do without ever explaining to that young brain why we're making that request or demand, right? I think that it's just a form of love, a form of caring, because we want our children to grow up with the best opportunities, and they will learn by watching you. And maybe you don't have children, maybe it's your mate. And sometimes we get so used to our other half or our partner behaving in such a manner, we don't even have the discussion anymore. Right? Well, you said this, and I'm just not really sure. Is everything okay? I'm not sure why you walked out of the room like that. Did I say something wrong? Right? Or you have a tendency to, when I'm starting to talk, you get up and you move about. Is there something about my voice, the way I'm saying it? Don't be afraid to ask so that they can give you clarity, right? It could just be they're aching and in tons of pain, right? And it's affecting their attitude, how they interact with everyone. In my family, we are very open. We have conflicts sometimes, but we are very open about being free to express ourselves and how we're understanding situations and asking questions. This is good communication, and it furthers your family's happiness, your general happiness as well. My name is Mighty Stream. I've enjoyed talking with you today, and I will be talking to you tomorrow.